Albino animals are some of the rarest on Earth, but some are much cooler than others. Like albino mice and rabbits are so commonplace that their apple emojis are the albino versions. But the goal of today's video is to show off some of the coolest and rarest albino animals that have ever been found. Some of which seem like actual kaiju more so than real animals. Now, just as a heads up, I'm also going to include some leucistic animals, which are pretty much exactly the same thing, but their eyes aren't red like truly albino animals because they have a little more pigment in their body. So without further ado, let's get going with what's in my opinion the 5th coolest all-white animal ever to be found. Snowflake, the albino gorilla. Literally looking straight out of the movie Rampage, this guy lived the majority of his life at a zoo in Spain. But he was actually first found in the wilds of Equatorial Guinea, living happily with his normal colored family, which after the baby's discovery were immediately killed and had their babies stolen and sold into the zoo trade. The 1960s, ladies and gentlemen. Besides having a superhero-level depressing backstory, he lived 39 years and fathered 11 kids, none of which were truly albino, but they all should be carriers. So maybe down the line we'll get another one of these 1 in a million animals popping up again. I promise the rest of this list isn't so depressing. And just to make it up to you, our number 4 animal is actually a happy story about an albino primate. Alba, the albino orangutan. I know, probably the worst name for an albino animal ever. At 5 years old, she was found in the wild in a critical condition, extremely dehydrated and parasite-ridden. But over the course of 2 years, she was nursed back to health at a rehabilitation center, and released back into the wild where she's currently thriving, looking fat and happy as ever. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but she looks uncannily a lot like Christopher Walken. Maybe it's just because of the Jungle Book movie, I don't know. Our number 3 animal took the name Great White, literally, a leucistic great white shark which washed up on an Australian beach in 2016. This little guy was only a pup, so not even close to the size of a full-grown white shark. And scientists are unsure as to why it died in the first place. But even in death, what an insanely cool animal, just imagine if it were an adult. The closest we'll get is the animal that's tied for 4th place, which isn't a great white, but another type of shark. This 33-foot all-white whale shark was found off the coast of the Galapagos, and must have been an incredible sight for the divers that spotted it. I got a chance to swim with some whale sharks in Mexico, and I could only imagine if the ones I was with were whiter than a Nebraskan bingo hall. But believe it or not, this massive fish isn't the biggest animal on the list. Coming in at number 2, we have an animal which is already rare enough to find in general. So finding an albino one is actually freaking insane. An albino panda. This guy was caught on a trail cam in China's Wolong Nature Reserve in 2019, and the odds of this animal even existing are unbelievable. There's only 2,000 wild pandas left in the world, so the fact that there's one with a 1 in 20,000 mutation gives me confidence that I'm living in the right reality. Albino animals are usually picked off by predators at a young age, but since pandas and the other animals on this list have very few natural predators, it's allowed this guy to live a pretty normal life. This animal is also a truly albino one, as you can see those distinct red eyes. Although this guy looks like something Aang would stumble upon in the spirit realm, it's not higher on the list since, for one, pandas are already pretty white as it is, and 2, no animal on Earth is quite as deserving as our number 1 pick. Migaloo, the albino humpback whale. This has to be the single most impressive looking animal on the planet. 50 feet of pure white oceanic majesty. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like seeing this thing in person. Surely something akin to seeing a mythical creature or some pagan deity. This whale has gotten pretty famous since his first sighting in 1991, and is the golden jewel of Australian whale watching. The Australian government has acknowledged just how special this animal is and will give out a $16,500 fine to any boat that comes within 500 meters of this whale. The last sighting of him was in 2020, and when a white whale washed up dead on the shores of Australia in 2022, people were heartbroken, but it turns out that was just some rando, and the real Migaloo has likely moved out to deeper waters, as is common with whales his age. And even better news, he's not the only white whale. More and more humpback calves, likely the offspring of Migaloo, have been popping up, so the odds are increasing for more of us to see one of these incredible animals in person. These are just a few of the awesome examples of animal albinism in the world, and there's even an animal that beats out Migaloo in terms of badassery. But I'm waiting for better pictures of this behemoth to be taken before I include it in a video. So let me know in the comments if you guys want a sequel to this video, and I'll see you guys next time.